Hey, here's what's going on today. Might be some sort of a revival type thing. It's an '04 Ford Powerstroke. There she is. Now, this thing was badly mouse infestated. Oh, oh, Lord. I wish you could smell what I'm smelling. That's really bad. Anyway, we're going to try and load this thing up, empty it out, clean it, and then see if we can get an engine running. Hey guys, on this Super Duty here, we'll give you an update where I'm at on it. Got the interior kind of cleaned out. It smells a little bit better in there. Did the head gaskets and studs, a number of different things. I've been in and out of this thing about, I don't know, probably 4 times already, trying to figure out all the different problems. After I got it together, realized I had EGR cooler that was pouring coolant out into the exhaust, and changed that. And yeah, there's been a number of things. Some of the connectors on the high pressure oil system were blowing apart. Got that fixed up. Got the truck running half decent. Took it for a test drive, and it actually dropped dead on me, and I ended up getting it towed back to the yard here, and I think I've lost my high pressure oil in this thing. I've connected some shop air to it, and I'm not 100% sure where the leak's coming from. It sounds like it's coming from under the valley, so unfortunately I gotta clear all this stuff out. I got a bad feeling that I got a cracked branch tube on this thing, and that's going to be a major undertaking. I haven't seen any decent videos on the YouTube kind of explaining this on the early build 0304 Powerstroke. So I thought maybe I'd take you along for some of the highlights at least, and we'll see what we find on this. So far what I've done in here is took the valve covers off. I've got the one cat tube on the passenger side pulled off, fairly straightforward there, 11 millimeter deep, and loosened the clamp. I've took the air intake off the driver's side, and got the coolant overflow sort of pulled off there. And yeah, that's where I'm at so far. Oh, and I guess I got the glow plug relay unplugged. There she is right there, and it had to come off to get the valve covers off. And that's it so far. I'll get back to you in a second. I removed the wire for the alternator here off the battery so we don't end up with any unexpected sparkies. Heat shield on the turbo, a couple 8mm bolts here on this one. I'll probably take the heat shield off of the cooler there, and give a little more access too. We're gonna have to get this turbo out of here, release the clip for the VGT, get that unplugged and out of here. There's a clamp holding the down pipe on, as well as the up pipe on the other side of the turbo. It's just 11 mil. Loosen it off, and you get a bar in there, and you can give it a bit of a pop, and it'll come loose. The oil supply tube, pressure feed for oil for the turbo, has to come off. There's a couple 10mm bolts here on top, and then this tube can kind of, it's flexible, can kind of pull out of the way. If you want to, you can pull off the bottom side down in there and get it right out of there. And then there'll be, I believe this turbo has 3 bolts in it, bolting down to the pedestal, and we'll get those loose and see if we can't wiggle out this turbo. There's the turbo sitting out. Basically all I did was get the bolts out, wiggle it, get it up off the drain stand pipe, and then kind of rolled and manipulated it, and it'll actually come out without removing any of this other junk. Turbo pedestal's out, so that was just 4 little 10 mil bolts on each corner of the mount, and it lifts right out of there. The belt tensioner for the serpentine belt is right down in here, and it's a little tough to get your hand in there, but if you pull out sideways on the serpentine belt and get a hand in there, there's a little lever on the bottom of the tensioner that you can lock it in place, and then you just slip the belt off. And then we got 3 bolts on top of the alternator, and it can come out. Okay, so I've got the wiring harness kind of disconnected from a whole lot of different things. I've got the injectors harness all pulled away. Let's pull that. They just have a little metal clip on them there. You just pop the clip out and then pull the connector off. Make sure to snap your clip back in when you're done though, so you don't lose them. They're little and they get lost pretty easy. Next thing is gonna be, I'm gonna pull off the oil filter, fuel filter housing. There's like 4 Torx bits around the base of this, and then there's 4 steel lines to disconnect or turn off the fuel bowl here. Just tech tip of the day, when you're pulling these off, throw a zip tie on the pipe, and that'll keep those nuts from sliding on down to a place where you can't get your fingers to later. Take it from someone who knows. Okay, I got the intake manifold off. That was pretty simple. It's just a series of a whole lot of long bolts all the way around the horseshoe there, and a couple here that go into the EGR cooler. So the next step will be pulling off the clamp, the V-clamp on the back of the EGR cooler, get that out of there, and then I need to start working at cleaning up some of this area down in the bottom of the valley. Get that as clean as possible so we aren't dropping contaminants into the H-pop. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I have got the top of the engine all cleared off here. I decided, now that I had access to the IPR valve, easy access, to pull that out and take a look at it. And unfortunately, the screen was punched through, and I'm kind of questioning whether this IPR is maybe stuck. And so I've got a smoke machine hooked up here, and just gonna jump 12 volts to this thing and see what happens with the smoke here, and I'll show you what the screen looked like on the IPR here in a minute. Okay, we'll get a little bit of smoke coming out here, hopefully. There we go. It's streaming out pretty decent here right now. Try and get a light maybe in here where you can show that a little bit better. There we go. Okay, I got the IPR energized full field, and I am seeing absolutely no difference in the amount of smoke coming out through that hole. Nothing. I'll shut that off. Okay, so I guess where I'm at on this right now, I think I'm going to put the brakes on this teardown, and I need to get a known good IPR sitting in here. These things are terribly expensive now. They're like $600 plus, at least here in Canada. And I guess we'll get that stuck in, and then I'm going to go back to my air pressure test on the high pressure oil rail and see if that has made any difference to it. There's a shot of the screen that was on the IPR. Totally ratched. I got a new IPR valve picked up for this truck. Here's the part number if anyone wants it. You really got to be sure you've got your testing done and make a solid decision. This part, stupid little solenoid, from the Ford dealership is $800 in Canada here with tax. That's just a lot of money. It's crazy. Hey, here's the new IPR installed. I'm just going to command it with the scan tool to 90%. You can tell right away the sound changed. There's back to 0. I just plugged the ICP sensor back in, and you can see on here that it's holding my shop air when I command this to 90%. So that's awesome. I wanted to quickly show this little bench that I built here just out of scrap wood that I had kicking around, some used stuff. Works pretty good. I got it sitting right in front of my hoist. And what I was struggling with was always standing on a stool when you got a higher vehicle like this. So I built a platform to stand on. Works awesome. And the platform will slide in underneath the bench. Just got a couple of casters under there on 2 of the legs to make it easier to move in. And anyway, it was just, I thought it was a decent idea. If anyone else has built something like this or something different, go ahead and share it. Okay, I thought I'd do a test before I pieced everything back together. I just put the filter housing back on so it wasn't bubbling oil all over the place. If you didn't know, there's a single wire here that just runs, it's a starter trigger wire on a Ford Super Duty, which is kind of nice. I guess Ford must have known that we'd be working under the hood of these vehicles fairly often. So basically you just touch that to the battery post and you can crank the engine over. So I wanted to see if I had any pressure on my ICP sensor. It's plugged in right now, and I've tried it once here, and I'll just show you as I start cranking it. Right now it's holding 151 psi, and bingo, we got oil pressure. So that's a lot better news than having a blown out STC. I don't have to remove the HPOP cover, and there's obviously not a crack in a branch tube. The whole issue was the IPR valve. So I'm going to piece this thing back together. Well, let's give this thing a try.
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 80,
500 psi.
you're gonna see some serious
Stuff. Hot dog. Hey guys, just a quick one here. I've got a 6-liter Powerstroke with an overheating concern, and in looking at the viscous clutch fan, when it's running, it doesn't seem to be turning all that fast. Everything else looks pretty much okay. So I just rigged up a test light here, got it pinned in, back probed into the connector for the fan clutch, and I just wanted to show you quickly here how to duty cycle that. Wait for this to load. Okay. So there, we're at 0 right now. So with a bidirectional scan tool, I'm going to hold you up here. I'm going to move it up off of 0 command, and I think there's probably a spot where, yeah, I think you guys can see that light there, and so I can change the intensity of the light, go up or down. So we do have wire and integrity and control. Unfortunately, looks like this one needs a fan clutch. Well, that's it for this one. I've ran the truck for a few miles. It seems to be working pretty good. High pressure oil staying up there. Thanks so much for watching.